big breaking news. This one is coming in from the Supreme Court. This regarding the criminalization of marital rape plea, which was there in the highest court of the land. I beg your pardon, this is coming in from the Delhi High Court. Now there is a split verdict which has been delivered in the case regarding marital rape. So that essentially means that since there was no unanimous decision which the bench could come up with, which is why now a larger bench is going to hear this case. Remember, this has been one of the long-standing demands for the criminalization of marital rape by several sections of the society. It's going to be very interesting now. This case is going to be heard in the Supreme Court tomorrow. So let me go across to Neelashish. Neelashish, what's going to be the legal path from here onwards now that there's a split verdict coming in from the High Court? Neelashish, what next? Well, we'll try and reconnect with Neelashish. Remember, this has been one of the pleas which went to the Delhi High Court, which said that marital rape must be criminalized. Whether or not the court is going to accept this, well, interestingly, the Delhi High Court, which was hearing this case, has delivered a split verdict, which essentially means that there was no decision which was reached by the bench and there was no unanimous decision which was reached by the bench. So now there's going to be a larger bench which is going to be hearing this case. That's the big breaking news which is coming in. That now means that there would be a longer legal process to decide whether or not marital rape is going to be criminalized. In fact, the Delhi High Court has struck down this exception and saying that the exception is unconstitutional and a larger bench will now be hearing the case. So what we are picking up is that it's now going to be going across perhaps even to the Supreme Court. So let me go across to Neelashish. Neelashish, if you can hear me, explain to us the legal battle ahead.
Well, yes, the impasse continues as far as marital rape is concerned, with Delhi High Court delivering a split verdict on this particular case. Justice Rajesh Agder was of the opinion that Exception 2 of Section 375 of the IPC, which basically exempts forceful sexual activity by a man on his wife from the ambit of rape, as unconstitutional. He clearly said that this is unconstitutional and it is liable to be struck down. His brother judge, Justice Hari Shankar, however, was of a dissenting opinion. He disagreed with that verdict and said that this should not be struck down. It is not unconstitutional. Therefore, the Delhi High Court now has delivered a split verdict, a 1:1 verdict, and has granted leave to the petitioners to, in fact, approach Supreme Court for a solution. But as the case has been decided by the Delhi High Court, clearly there is no answer yet. The position continues to be as it was before the hearing. Let's not forget that the centre has not yet put out its stand, and it had said that it is considering this matter. And that's very interesting. Let me take that across to activist Brinda Adige, who's also joining us. Interesting, isn't it, Brinda Adige, that till now, even though the centre was given time till today to make its stand clear, it's hesitating to do so in the courts.
You're absolutely right. This split decision and verdict, I think, was something that we were all also thinking it might come like that. Because as a patriarchal society, the understanding is that families will break if the spouse comes and talks about marital rape by the husband or the partner. And that is why the split verdict, absolutely unacceptable, because they are not considering women and their rights. Not acceptable.
But do you think that it's going to matter what the centre says? Because now it seems that it's likely to go on to a larger bench. How important is it going to be, the centre weighing in on either side? Well, it seems like we've lost that audio connection. So let me go back across to Neelashish. Neelashish, that's what even activists are saying. It's interesting that the centre refuses to take a stand even now. Will it do so in future then?
Well, with the hearing that was continuing all those days, the centre on 3 different occasions filed affidavits saying that they seek more time. The fact of the matter remains that this is a sensitive issue which affects families and the society at large, and therefore it needs to be handled with a lot of care. And it requires extensive consultation with all stakeholders, with all the state parties involved. Now, in order to do that, they require more time, and the centre has said that they're cognizant of the kind of issues that could come up. On one hand, there is the angle of preserving family values, of preserving societal values. On the other hand, there is also talk of misuse. And the basic underlying criteria amongst all of this is the offense and the abuse that is faced by a wife in the marriage. There are a number of such cases that have come up. So how does the court, how does the centre balance that exactly is the challenge before the centre, and that is why
you must also
they want to
explain to us on the split side, those people who are saying there should not be criminalization of marital rape, what is the flip side to that?
Well, as far as criminalization of marital rape is concerned, one side clearly says there could be misuse, there could be abuse on part of women, and secondly, that it could break families, it could harm the society, it could disrupt the society. Now, if we talk about the other side, the petitioners who have filed their cases have said that the manner in which marital rape is prevalent in society, it in a way, not only is it a physical aspect, the mental aspect. Imagine being in a marriage which is abusive, in which your husband is raping you, is forcing himself upon you without your consent, and that is the right of a woman to ensure that irrespective of marital status, irrespective of any other condition, that that rape remains rape without any sort of condition put to it. So of course,
sorry to interrupt you there. I'll come back to you, Nilishish, but Abha Singh is with us on this broadcast. How do you look at this? There was a split verdict, which means this is going to be a long-drawn process before we actually get to a stage where marital rape could be criminalized in this country.
Absolutely, it is not very easy to come to a decision because there are two lobbies which are working. One says marital rape should be an offense, but there are people who say and feel that it will destroy the institution of marriage, and there are enough laws to protect women if she's facing abuse in a married life. So I think with the split verdict, it clearly shows the manner in which the country is divided, and rightly so, because we cannot take any judgment in haste. You cannot just make marital rape an offense, because I think a commission or a committee should be set up to study, involve the stakeholders, involve the NGOs. Meanwhile, if it is going to Supreme Court, I think a larger bench would be set up, which would involve the due process of law, get the right feedback, and then take a decision, because I feel as a lawyer, it would be very difficult to prove marital rape, because this offense would be taking place within the four walls with no evidence. So whether we would go by the wife's verdict that it was rape, or the husband who says that it was my conjugal love for my wife.
Right now, Abha Singh, it's interesting that the centre so far has remained hesitant in putting forth its view of where they stand and what's the way forward. Now that this goes to the higher court, which is the Supreme Court, how important is it going to be for the centre to actually take a stand?
You know, the centre has always from day one said that marital rape should not be an offence, and that is why we've not had a law on this till now. But yes, Supreme Court is not going to be hasty, because as I said, it would have ramifications on the institution of marriage, on family. So it is necessary that we look into both the sides, internationally see how marital rape and offence has been effective, because as a lawyer, I feel there are enough laws to protect women in a family, in a home, and if she is facing abuse, nothing stops her from going out, and under the IPC, there are enough laws to protect her.
Right, Abha Singh, thank you so much for speaking with us here on Times.